Welcome to the Cincy Postcast. I'm Kevin Wallace, and before we get into today's episode, I really want to tell you about our friends over at Streetside Brewery, the best damn brewery you will find in Cincinnati. They are located over in Columbia, Tusculum. It is a great spot. You got to go check them out. I've said this before. I'll say it again. They have every type of beer. They've got every type of beer that your party would love. So go check them out. You can bring the whole gang down there and everybody will be satisfied with what they find. They also have really good food options. Always a food truck or two hanging out there. It's a good time. Go check them out. When you do, drop the postcast name. They'll knock $1 off of your beer for checking them out. So a huge thank you to Streetside for sponsoring this and virtually every other episode in 2024. And on today's episode, it's a yearly tradition at this point. It is predicting every single match in 2025 for FC Cincinnati. Don't worry about what information we do or don't have at this point. That's what we're doing, okay? We predict all the games, so you don't even need to watch them. You know, just listen to this episode. You're good for the year. We'll check back in with you in 2026. This is a very fun episode. I hope you enjoy it. It's so much fun recording it every year. So with that, here is the last episode of 2024. Joining me to talk about all of that and more, I'm joined by two gentlemen who cannot wait for 2025. So we're doing it early. Joined by the Chief and joined by Jonah, Knifey Lion Radio, The Post, The Internet. Jonah?
Yes.
How you doing?
Oh, fantastic. FCC's got a hold on me this offseason. Let me tell you. I can't stop thinking about it. And I'm ready to guess every fucking game this season.
This is something that I don't know if it was a tradition with you. I'm trying to remember. Did you do it regularly? Did you do it once?
Definitely at least twice.
Yeah.
Maybe 3 times. Let's say 3. Did it 3 times.
I look forward to the episode every year. I know that.
Yes.
And it does go longer than you expect every time.
And you always end up with absurd conclusions too, where it's like you go back at the end, you're like, that's too many. We need to fix that immediately.
Yeah, or like in my brother's case, it'd be like, I just feel like that team is bad, and we always beat them, even though the record didn't always say that. But you're like, no, that's a team who I just like. Real Salt Lake, that's a win. I don't care what the record is. Right. It just feels like it.
And all I can think about is that there was some Bengals podcast out there that was doing the same exercise. And week 1, New England Patriots, Drake May. Dub.
Crush them.
That one just gets worse and worse over time.
Yeah, just the longer the season goes on, the more inexplicable and awful that becomes. Is now I think the Patriots have the number 1 overall pick right now as things stand, if I'm reading this correctly.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. No, that's good. Well, hey,
so the playoff hopes of this team may in fact have been dashed by losing to the worst team in football.
Correct me if I'm wrong. We need the Patriots to win against Miami next week. Is that the scenario?
No, the Jets.
It's the Jets.
Week.
Oh, it's the Jets.
So
okay.
You need Aaron Rodgers to start giving a shit.
Oh, good. Okay, good. That'll happen.
So have we? Why would we have talked about this? I genuinely believe that the reason why Aaron Rodgers signed with the Jets is because he is an anti-vaxxer and Woody Johnson is part of the Johnson & Johnson family, and that he is playing purposely bad football to ruin the franchise.
I'm into it. Yeah. It doesn't make a lot of sense that he would sign with them if that crossed his mind, right?
Well, he's taking their money and he's ruining their team. Like,
it's not the most far-fetched thing that Aaron Rodgers could be a part of.
Right. You think to yourself listening to this, that sounds crazy. Why would anyone do that? And then all my response would be have you met Aaron Rodgers?
Right. It's kind of
Did you
weird.
hear his? He went after Ryan Clark who's on ESPN, and was like, question like, how many times have you been jabbed? You know, like, what's your? I was like, why is that? It's still the first in the year of our Lord, nearly 2025. The first thing you're asking is like, what's your vax status? Like, bro, no one is asking. Like, what is?
Right? Didn't you get the memo? We've moved on to H-1B visas, man. Give us your take on that, just for something different.
On a high quality foreign quarterbacks not being allowed into this country.
I mean, the Jets would be a good candidate for that over the years.
See, there you go.
Can we find a highly skilled foreign talent that can lead this franchise out of the dumpster?
Hey, speaking of a highly skilled foreign talent to leave a franchise or to lead a franchise out of the dumpster,
what a transition.
Before we dive into the schedule, we do need to touch on the latest with the Lucho Acosta. Won't he abide by the terms of the contract that he signed just a year ago? Saga. Yeah, he popped up again in, I believe it was Argentinian news. I don't know which one you're supposed to use, Argentinian.
Yes.
He's apparently seducing, this is the Google Translate version of this, seducing Corinthians and Boca Juniors in an attempt to be signed. Jonah, I was under the impression that there was maybe some family considerations as to why he would go back to Argentina. Corinthians plays in Brazil. What's up with that?
Well, Brazil is much closer to Argentina, Kevin. So the fact you're even questioning the validity of Lucho's plight, also, like, without delving at all into the rumors, because I know Grayson wouldn't want me to do that.
Correct.
It's so stupid. Like, who cares? Like, you're a professional athlete, for God's sakes. Suck it up. But yeah, I don't like that I don't know. We're not even the mistress. We're not even I guess we're the wife or the husband, I shouldn't say.
True.
In this scenario. But when there's two other people, that's really makes you feel like he's trying to start a bidding war for two teams who are like mediocre on him right now. They're like, we'd take you, but we're not going to give you very much. We're not going to give FCC very much. He's like, he's really trying to make that happen. But yeah, I feel like the jilted lover being left in the dust, which makes me a little, I don't want to be mad at Lucho, but he's making me a little
worse. We're sitting in the chair in the hotel room right now, watching as this all happens. Like, he's desperately attempting to close the deal with somebody else while we're like waiting for the magic show to begin.
I don't even know that we're in the hotel room. It's like we're at the hotel bar watching him hit on people.
Like, oh yeah, where's your husband? He's upstairs.
he's over there watching.
Pour me another one.
Don't worry, he likes to watch. Do we? We don't. This is awful.
I don't.
I do appreciate that there's a certain American doing geography aspect to all this, to where, like, well, Brazil, Argentina, they're probably right next door to one another. Like, they're probably really, really close. I don't quote me on that or look at a map to determine that. But yeah, it's South America. Everything's by everything else. How big can it be?
I know that much.
Yeah.
Right. Depending on where the direct flights are, it could actually be a similar distance.
I mean, if we're being real, it was the second biggest sigh that you received on Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego when you had to do the South America map. Nothing will ever top the sadness of the kid being assigned Africa, where it's like he's running around. It's like, oh, it turns out that's a new country that didn't exist last month. So you have no idea where that is. But yeah, I don't, something about this just seems really weird, right? That like we went from the club has mistreated me and I want to go down to back home to now it's just like, I mean, I guess I'll go. It's between the other club and my agents to work out. I still have a contract. It's like, I don't know, man. What's going on? I wish Lucho would just keep his story straight just for my own sanity.
He has quickly dropped the club has done me and my former teammates wrong story. Feels like the moment after he said it. I don't know what that was. everybody I've talked to can't seem to quite place it or even point to a hypothetical. I don't know. Jonah, how quickly would it take you to be won back over by Lucho, though, if he reluctantly shows back up at training camp?
I mean, before the season, I would hope he would say it would be super weird if he comes back and there's no, I don't want to say mea culpa. He's never going to say he was wrong or anything, but just to be like, I'm 100% dedicated to, honestly, just say the fans. I don't even care if he's at the club, but to the fans and like all that. And he was like, and like, my goal is to win the MLS Cup this year. And then he plays well, and obviously it's all forgotten instantly. Yeah. But if like he never addresses it and he starts like, he's kind of like sulking, and like the line between good Lucho and bad Lucho on the field is so razor thin. It's like the distance between an opponent's legs is like Lucho's. It could be bad really easily with him, or it'd be like not that bad, but like, is he loafing it or is he just being Lucho? And when you have it in the back of your mind, that won't be fun. But if we're, if Denke is banging home goals and Lucho is just slightly less important on the team, but we're doing well, I think it'll be okay. But I feel like he's going to have to address it, or this is assuming he's coming back. I don't know. What are you thinking he's coming back? What are you thinking he's not? Because I feel like there's not a lot of juice out there right now if he's still begging these teams for his services.
It is sad to like watch him beg teams to sign him. Like,
he's too good.
Yeah, right. We've talked about this before, but like he makes way too much money to get a similar salary. So like wherever he's going that's not Cincinnati is going to come at a hefty pay reduction, let alone what sort of transfer fee FC Cincinnati could squeeze out of these guys. I do wonder, though, if it goes on long enough, like let's say he doesn't report to training camp or whatever, like FC Cincinnati and Chris Albright are going to want to move on quick. Like if they've identified a possible replacement, I think they might want to move on quickly. I don't know what that looks like though. Yeah.
The problem is that the way the transfer windows line up, the January transfer window, MLS is a much longer window than other places, but for the caliber of player you're probably talking about with Lucho, and the level of talent you'd want to bring in, you're probably looking at somebody that needs to come in by the end of the January transfer window. That's not to say there aren't players that, their transfer windows line up a little bit closer with MLS. But if you're thinking major big leagues, big time talent, they kind of have to have a go, no go by mid-January, like a couple weeks from now.
Yeah. Inauguration day. Start panicking.
Yeah. Right, from any number of reasons, but
that's why he's trying to go.
Yeah,
but the other thing too is that part of like what a lot of people are worried about is this idea of like what kind of Lucho will we get if he comes back. I think a large part of that depends on whether or not someone out there decides they want him, and I think there's a huge difference between there's no one that's willing to make an offer on him because they can't agree to personal terms with him, and some team agreeing to personal terms and then the FC saying, well, we're not getting enough value back. I think as long as we don't get to that second category of he's found somewhere to go, and it just comes down to this team only wants him on a free or wants him for a couple $100,000, and Albright and Noonan are like, no, we can't do that because we need to maximize GAM transfer or whatever it is. As long as we don't get to that second scenario, I'm not really that worried about Lucho coming back. I don't think he's going to come back and sulk unless we do something or the FC does something that he feels was actively hindering his deal. And thus far, the attitude I've seen from FCC and what I've heard the attitude is all right, if you can find someplace, go. We're ready to move on. If you want to leave, we're not going to stand in your way to do it.
Fair enough.
which will avoid the DC United situation where there was a problem because they actively interfered in his move to PSG, if you believe that side of the story.
Yeah, right. And maybe that's the story that Lucho believes. And then similarly, it doesn't look like there's anywhere particularly interested for Barreal as well. And his is a little trickier where he's only got 1 year left on his deal. There was a rumor that popped up, or something popped up, that he was offered to Liga MX side, and it was like a loan with an option to purchase. It doesn't make sense. He's only got 1 year left. So if it's a loan for a year, he's a free agent. There would be no obligation for an obligation to purchase. So it doesn't make a ton of sense there. I still think Barreal comes back, and he has a come to Jesus moment, and we make it work somehow. But I don't know. It doesn't look good. I don't know. Jonah, Barreal back. Are you pocketbook watching for this, or are you excited at the prospect of him?
I can't actually visualize it. For some reason, it feels so strange because I'd love to hear an example of this situation where I wouldn't say he left. It wasn't the worst terms.
Yeah.
But he was ready to go. And for that to him actually have plateaued then and leave and then come back, it's just hard to picture it for him or for us. For us, I think, I don't know. Chief would know more about the money situation. But just as a player, it'd be like a boon to have him back on the team. I don't know how much it's going to hamstring us. I'd let you guys think of that stuff, but it'd be incredible. But I just can't. It's just so hard to imagine him coming back without. I think both sides are kind of we need to figure this out, and it doesn't involve him coming back. But just as a player, you'd obviously want him back on the team, and it would make us better. So I'd be excited.
Yeah.
I don't believe there's any chance Alvaro is coming back or Barreal's coming back. I think there is a non-zero chance he gets moved within the league if it gets to that.
Interesting.
I think that there is too much this team like you say, pocketbook watching. And look,
I'm not saying for ownership. I mean, genuinely, as you're going to probably describe here, the GAM and TAM situation is not ideal. Yes.
It's not ideal. And the problem is would it be fun to have Barreal back on this team? Yeah, maybe. Especially, if Lucho comes back and we can run that whole thing back again from 2023. The problem is, I think the choice this team would have to make is Barreal or multiple depth backups. And if you ask everyone last year, would you rather have Barreal down the stretch, or would you rather have had competent backups at a lot of positions that could have spelled people, given people minutes off, maybe even pushed people that were, not giving the kind of results or producing the kind of results we were hoping for down the stretch? I think just about everyone would have chosen for better backups last year over having Barreal. I didn't miss Barreal. Here's the honest question to ask yourself. Did you miss Barreal last year? Because I really didn't. I mean, Luka took off, and it was we had Yedlin on the other side, and it was kind of like, Alvaro who? He was fun, but that wasn't the difference between this team winning and losing last year. That wasn't the difference between this team advancing in the playoffs and not advancing in the playoffs. Ultimately, the difference was they just didn't have the horses up top, problem solved, and they didn't have people around the lineup that on the bench that were capable of giving you minutes that might change a game selectively based on deployment. I'd kind of rather have the problem. I'd rather fix the problem than add back someplace or somebody where we already have a lot of options available already. And that's not to say I don't like him. I don't. Right. I think he's fine. But the other thing too to remember, it's his last year of his deal. So I think one way or the other, I don't see him being in Cincinnati long term. So if you can get anything for him in the last year of his deal, you have to take it. And when you combine that with the nearly $900,000, $800,000 worth of salary, to me, it's I almost feel like it would be roster malpractice for Albright to consider it. You got to move on, and he will not be in Cincinnati past 2025. So we said our goodbyes the last time around. I just don't think anyone should get their hopes up for a reunion.
Don't disagree, but you can't tell me you wouldn't have preferred him to Joe Aquini
I mean, neither one of them can play striker.
Jonah, to your point, I don't know exactly what the situation was, but Jermaine Defoe has gone back and forth to a lot of the same teams throughout his career. Like he popped in and out of Tottenham and Portsmouth and Sunderland a few times. I just wonder if there isn't a parallel there somewhere along the line, but I don't know that story well enough.
Barreal's our Defoe. Welcome back.
I'll take it. No, the main thrust of what we are here to do today is to take a look at the 2025 schedule. For the sake of this conversation, we're going to only look at MLS schedule. There is presumably a Leagues Cup. We know there is CONCACAF Champions League, but I'm not projecting that far out on this one. So we'll only look at MLS games. We don't know who will be on this team. We don't know of the aforementioned good players who will be on this team. And yet we soldier on. We predict and tell you well ahead of time what will happen in each and every game, a KLR tradition that we will try to do a sad proxy of. And if I remember, I will drop in the Final Fantasy X battle win music. I think it was that accompanied.
I think it was Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, was it? Okay.
I don't even know
one of the Final Fantasy success sounds will play after each predicted win. Maybe I'll mix it up. Let's see how crazy it gets.
There's got to be a lot of them.
It's all wins, baby.
Also, Kevin, this would be a good time to work on that FanDuel sponsorship. Maybe this is something people could be betting on. If you do a full season parlay based squarely off of our predictions, I mean the numbers should be astronomical. Yeah, absolutely. No hedging on this podcast.
Yeah, bet 2 cents, win $10 million. Look at this go.
Don't worry, I got the stats to back it up, folks.
Oh, please.
These are heavily researched predictions. I want to make sure everybody understands that. Heavily researched.
Did either of you remember who the season opener is against?
How could I forget? With our our buddies down in Honduras, number one, all expense paid trip.
Of course.
But it's with our old friends from New York City, the New York Metro Stars.
Yes, New York, New Jersey Metro Stars come to town to open the season on February 22nd. Jonah, do you have any stats? Should I look to you for stats on each game?
Absolutely.
How should this happen? Oh, please.
You might not be shocked to learn this, Kevin and Chief, but the New York Red Bulls are our most played MLS opponent of all time.
That tracks.
16 times.
Wow.
5 wins, 4 draws, 7 losses. So there you go, folks.
We got some catching up to do.
Our
here.
true rival, many are saying. Many
people noting.
The Blood Feud, I think I tried to call it one time. I'm trying to give it a name.
I like it. I think it's fine. Like, we can do better, but for right now, I like the Blood Feud works. There was a team that played trivia up at the Oakley Pub and Grill that had the name The Blood Farts, which always was just an unsettling thing to hear.
Right over a loudspeaker. That was my team.
Was it really?
Yeah. That's me. Blood fart, yeah.
Wow. This is so good.
Yeah. They played beyond me. We played animations and then Oakley Pub back-to-back nights.
Wow.
But I wasn't always there for OPG. Yeah. There you go.
Wow. How about that?
Yeah, my buddy on Blood Fart dated the host for many years. And now I don't know if you've been there lately, but the OPG host is his sister too. Shout out to Mara, who's not listening, but yeah, she's about to retire from the hosting.
Damn.
If she was listening, that would be just an incredible turn of events.
Yeah.
Well, how about that?
Blood Fart. Shit. That was us. Yeah.
Maybe that's the name of the rivalry then.
Blood Fart.
Blood Fart.
What was your team, Chief?
We were licensed to Kim Jong-il.
So okay, I was wondering if you were part of Ashley Schaefer BMW. My buddy didn't know Eastbound and Down or Ashley Schaefer or anything. So he just was like, who is this bitch, Ashley Schaefer? I was like, oh, it's from a show. Like
there was always
yeah.
My couch pulls out, but I don't. That was always a classic participant in the Oakley Pub and Grill
I
trivia.
remember that name. Yeah. Yeah. We had some good players, but
we were missing, what we were missing was it was me and a couple friends, but we didn't have we needed my dad to be there. Like you need one person that's in your trivia group that's over 50 or over 60 that just can you'll get 70s things or, classic rock, which I'm okay at, but just there's this giant blind spot that most pub trivia has where if you're under the age of 40, you're just going to miss some shit. And that's where we always fell down at the end.
We would play a Trivial Pursuit game back in my my camp days that was printed in 1989. That was pretty hard.
Wrong generation, fellas.
You don't know any of the pop culture references. Okay. First game's up. Cincinnati hosts New York Red Bulls. They've had our number according to the stats from Jonah. Oh, could we be in disarray? Their newly acquired New York Red Bulls acquired a 36-year-old designated player who was a free agent for 6 months before signing. Do they have our number here? Do we lose the home opener?
Not on my watch.
Oh, baby.
But I could be swayed. I'm thinking a 2-1 victory, but I don't know where Chiefs head at for this opening game. This is going to really it's a tone setter, much like really KLR used to be on Monday mornings. Now it's you guys. What kind of tone are we setting for the 2025 season?
It feels very much like a 0-0 draw.
Oh, I knew you were going
to be a hell of a way to start the year.
everybody still feeling things out. It would if they score multiple goals, if it's like a 2-0 victory with Denke scoring a goal, I'm already booking flights to places for MLS Cup, or not booking any flights because we're hosting at home because we're going undefeated.
There you go.
You're just circling the city and landing.
Yeah, just over and over again. I'm earning the Sky Miles going around in circles. I don't know that I'm prepared for vibes that high. I don't know that just right out of the chute, this team is clicking on all cylinders. Albright, the roster build is never done by week 1. There's always additions that come in the time period right around the first couple weeks of the season. So I would have a tough time saying it's a win. And I'm looking at some of the same stats Jonah has. And despite the fact that we've played 16 matches and we are 5-4-7 against the Red Bulls, goal differential of just -1. So we've played them pretty even over the course of those matches. I'm going to stay with that. I'm going to say it's a draw, 0-0.
Kevin,
draw sounds right. If you had a win and I had a loss, that feels like a draw. A 1-1 draw.
We don't think Denke is going to have a GB-esque start to his FCC career. Wouldn't that be special?
A Denke 4-goal home opener start. I mean, they will have the tune-up game in Honduras 3 days prior. That feels like it sucks.
Also, Kevin, are you writing these down? You need to.
I am writing them down. I have a spreadsheet. I am tracking them with.
Listen through it again.
Yes.
You got a 0-0 draw, or are there goals on the table for you, Kevin?
Let's go 1-1 here.
Okay.
I'm not writing down the score for what it's worth.
Fair enough.
I mean, I can if you want.
Hey, it's your.
No, I'm writing them down now. All right.
It's your company.
Next up, Philadelphia hosts FC Cincinnati for their home opener at Subaru Park in historic Chester, Pennsylvania.
Yes, Chester, PA, my favorite.
A place that technically has a train stop. This does finally get us out of February. There are 3 games in February. Oh boy. On the road against Philadelphia, this will be a Jim Curtin-less Philadelphia, also without a handful of other names. Jacob Gillespie, I believe. Is that? No, it was the other one. Elliott is out. What are we thinking here, boys?
It's a win. I think we got our first road points of the win year. This is a road warrior team. Played well on the road this year. I'm gonna go ahead and say 2-1 FC. The MLS clean sheet for Roman, and that's a win. After yeah, because I do worry that if they start out the season slow, we're gonna start turning on our sweet child Kevin Denke, and I don't want that for us. So I'm going to go ahead and predict a win, get the money off, get the money.
Don't put you on everybody
Get off
else.
the schneid a little bit there, you know?
He's talking about himself. He knows how he'll start feeling about Kevin Denke. I'll still be very ready for him to break out. But, we got a pretty even record against them, looks like. What was it?
Yeah, what does it look like there?
It's looking like 5 to 6 wins. 5 wins for us, 6 to them, 3 draws apiece, and 6 losses for us, 5 to them. We're just, and that's especially since Noonan took over. It's like him and Curtin like play to each other's level.
Yeah.
Like when I think they should win, they're playing, it's a 0-0 game. And when I think we should win, it's like they play us. Like I like they're kind of, it's like a chess match where neither of them are quite, I don't want to say you'd say they're both bringing their A game and they're matching up, but I feel like they're both kind of tentative against the other. Like they think they have some magic potion against them. So we all just kind of, it feels like every game's going to be a draw, even though clearly there's games in here, unless like Lucho takes it by the scruff of his neck and it's like, I'm just going to win this game, like that one magical game.
This is
that
the first
one match where he screams, "This is my city," and then promptly abandoned his city.
Yeah,
I've abandoned my boy.
This is the first. Did we mention this? This is the first in the post Jim Curtin era. So are we still frenemies with Philly or not?
I think we won. I think we beat them. I think Noonan has proven to be superior. So
yeah, but is it all hugs and kisses? Are we getting the pregame stories about how like they're FaceTiming 5 days a week, or like who's the new guy in charge? I don't even know the guy's name now.
I don't think it's been officially confirmed, but Bradley Carnell was rumored. They don't
have a coach yet.
St. Louis manager.
Oh, right. Even funnier that we're picking the games. Who's the manager? Yes. We'll find out soon enough.
We don't know.
Hey, I'm with Chief. No manager. Edge goes to FCC for sure.
They don't stand a chance.
So you got a manager who will set the lineup. That's awful. We've got to have this in the bag.
Kevin Sullivan's like, I will start. Thank you, guys.
Soccer manager is second on my list of maybe most useless managers, with baseball being the obvious.
Hockey, way up there.
Ooh, interesting. I don't know enough about hockey to say.
You can't name more than 1 or 2 coaches in hockey for that reason. They stay for like a year and they're fired.
What always cracks me up is powerlifting and bodybuilding coaches. What are they doing?
Go. Do it.
One more. Breathe. One more. You got this.
I'm not saying having a training buddy isn't good. I don't know what the coach is doing.
One more rep. You got this. Come on, man.
So that's a win, right? Yeah,
that's a win. That's a dub.
New win. They're going into their cheapskate era, even more so now that they've abandoned Jim Curtin. 2-1. Jonah, do you have an alternate scoreline you want to throw out there?
I think 2-1 is perfect.
2-1. We're cruising.
Why mess with perfection?
So that leads us next to hosting Toronto here in Cincinnati. Toronto, couldn't tell you who manages them. Should I know?
I don't know. Does Football Reference say let's click their team? No, of course their manager is loading.
Is it John Herdman? Surely he resigned, right?
He resigned. He quit. He did something.
So who knows?
He's waiting for that drone stuff to come down on him, so he just got out ahead of it. Remember they had that thing where him and Insigne like hugged on the sideline after a goal, and it was like, look at the vibes. They're off the charts. I'm like, well, where'd that go?
I don't. Are Bernadeschi and Insigne still going to be there? I guess so.
I can't imagine at least one of them are.
Do they also have a retired former player friend who can come manage them like Mascherano's doing in Miami?
Maybe they can just go on to Transfer Market and look up the highest rated manager.
The highest rated out of work Italian manager.
Yeah.
What's Antonio Conte up to?
Yeah, get him in here. That'll fix everything.
What if they hired Michael Bradley? That'd be pretty fun.
They love him. Bring him Bob Breck.
We kind of have their number.
Yeah, I think we beat Toronto.
We've got for a team that's been in the Eastern Conference with us since we've been in the league, for us to have a winning record over them, we gave you a great head start. Okay.
And you didn't take advantage of it. You should have killed us while we were down.
We've won 7 out of 11. There's only been one draw in all of our games.
That was at home last year. I want to say 2024.
So
is this the match where it's like everyone asks, is Toronto good?
Don't you dare. Don't you dare. All I'm saying is you can't pick a draw because we don't draw this team, apparently. It's win or loss. So you don't, there's no hedging for Toronto FC. I want to hear, Kevin, you haven't gone first on any of these. What do you?
We got to win. Well, this is a win.
Atlanta just scored. This is not going well.
Atlanta United, because this is an MLS pod.
It is, but
I used to describe many Bengals games in the background of
if we just would have beat the Cowboys last week. Somehow Cooper Rush looked immortal for 1 week.
Never a good sign.
I know. This is a dub for the FC. I'm going to say 3-1. This is if he hasn't already had his coming out game, this is the Denke coming out
for
game.
sure. This reeks of Denke. That sounds like
we got Denke fever after this game.
Denke's got his musk all over this thing.
Denke's got his
3-0. I say
doesn't Bengay smell?
Denke.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bengay. Topical pain relief. Yeah, Bengay. I can see a banner now.
Oh no, that's good. I'm saying 3-0 on this one. That feels like an absolute win.
Oh man.
Then we go on the road to Charlotte. 3-15. Now, to be clear, I have no idea like where CONCACAF Champions League matches would be sprinkled in here, which could eventually flavor
create a problem right here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not that we're needing more information before we make a prediction here, but
Charlotte in Belize.
Yes.
Yeah. Charlotte. I'm going to continue to just believe in the narrative that this team plays poorly on artificial playing surfaces. So I know that's been debunked, I think, at this point.
And you got those stats, Jonah?
I don't have those stats. We're basically dead even with Charlotte, although it feels like they have the upper hand, and I'm not sure why. We scored the goal of the year against them.
Yes.
Sorry, was this on the road or at home?
We did that.
It's on. Okay.
This game is on the road.
This game's on the road. I don't know.
Wouldn't be a bad time to pick our first loss.
I'm a narrative guy. The narrative, especially my own personal narrative. My own personal narrative about this team is that they struggle to play on the artificial surface. So I'm going to say this is our first loss of the year, which would put our record at what, Kevin? You're keeping track of this.
That would be 2 wins, 1 draw, and a loss.
Feels right.
7 points out of the first 4 games.
Yeah,
an above average team.
Never won away at Charlotte. So
why start now?
We've had some good teams the last 2 years. So
Charlotte may have Miguel Almiron on their team by the time we play them.
No,
allegedly they are in for him. Looks like somewhere in the neighborhood of $15 million will probably get the deal done.
Now it feels like too much, but like a year ago, I'd be like, that's the perfect amount. And I'm like, that's a lot for a guy who runs a lot.
Right.
It's like, wow, look at him go. Are we sure he can still do the other stuff?
Would you take Almiron as our Lucho replacement if it was on the table?
No.
Am I getting options, or you're like, sorry, it's
Almiron or nothing?
You get Almiron or an upset Lucho.
Because it's not a bad. Also, oh my God, the Facebook fans would fucking love like Lucho never ran like this. Look at him go. He's like the Energizer Bunny out there. Like, they would just eat him up.
Cincinnati casual sports fans, they love Johnny Hustles and Johnny Tryhards. Big fans of. Look at how much effort he's putting in there. That's playing the game the right way. That's just like I coach my daughter's team and I tell them, if you're not running, you don't play.
That's what this is a tangent, but the guy who owns the Kings, is his name Vivek too? A different Vivek? I think it's Vivek.
I think so.
He when he bought the team, he told the coaches, like, why can't we do the full court press? My daughter's team does it, and it's extremely successful. And they had to explain to him, like, sorry, buddy, it's a little different in the NBA. We can't full court press all game. Our players will actually die. This is not something we could try, but I like him having ideas. So, Almiron. But yeah, we'd be good with him. Yeah.
That's Mick Cronin in the NBA mentality right there.
Just got to get after it. Got to get after it.
Problem, sir, is that everyone in the NBA can handle the ball, and there is no way to trap an NBA player because they can all dribble and they can all pass.
As we're seeing, centers in the NBA in 2024 are probably better point guards than point guards were 15, 20 years ago.
This is accurate.
So a loss to Charlotte. I'm going to say 2-0. Who disagrees?
No. When you lose, if you don't score a goal, it's better for narratives. So this is a narrative game. This is
we hit the post though.
This is the is FC Cincinnati destined for a mediocre year loss? Where this is where we're wondering if the magic of top finishes, chasing for the shield, if that's just not in the cards this year. That'll be after this loss that conversation will start.
I don't like that narrative. My narrative will be we are resting the starters because they just beat, I don't have it in front of me, Club America in the CONCACAF Champions League, and they earned the weekend off.
That would help.
That would be useful. We come back home to host Atlanta United. Speaking of artificial pitches. I don't know much about
2:30 p.m.
2:30
Important
p.m.
to note.
It's a weird start where we'd be the featured afternoon game for the league on what I'm assuming is a Saturday as I scroll through this.
It is, yes.
What's our record, Jonah, against this team? This is an important piece of information.
It's very split. So it's not going to give you lots of draws. 4 wins for us, 5 draws, 5 losses. So 5 wins for them. 5 draws, 4 losses. So it's one of those games where we've had some, our first big MLS moment. Roland Lamar. We're tied to this team. We've had some fantastic goals in Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Gave up a goal
given
of
up
the
some
year
great ones.
To Joseph Martinez against Atlanta.
Is that the one where he just carved us the fuck up? Yeah.
Yeah, the goal itself was good, don't get me wrong, but yeah, it said he beats like 4 defenders.
It's just we have one draw already. I would say this would be a good spot for the first draw, but it would be actually our second draw.
Do have a draw. We almost need a win here to keep the season alive.
I think this is a win.
Okay.
This is a win.
Coming off a loss, sure, yeah.
Yeah, this is a win.
We bounce back.
I feel like we've played well there lately, I feel like.
Oh, this is at home. If that changes how you feel.
Oh, then we're definitely winning. All to us right here. This is major dub at home.
The confidence change. I love this.
No, this is also narratives for the season. I think one of the narratives this year is the reemergence of the Fortress. So last year, I hate to do this. I don't want to be the one to do this, but TQL Stadium, your Fortress status is being questioned right now after the way the team performed at home this year. I didn't want to do it. The results led me to do this and made me do this. I think that this team's got some work to do reestablishing Fortress status at TQL Stadium. I think the Teak will be rocking this year. I think that the Fortress reemerges as a major player in the Eastern Conference schedule this year. So I feel better about the home.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's
narratives.
A win. How big is the win? Is it a 1-0 we squeak by with the Yuya Kubo goal? That doesn't make sense.
Miles Robinson revenge header. A corner goal that would really set the vibes on fire.
I mean, so corner goal. You're predicting Lucho is gone by this point.
But Barreal maybe stays if we got decent service from the corners.
Barreal is here. He's taking corners. Yeah, that might change your opinion on the whole Barreal thing. If he was taking corner kicks, I'm like, all right, how much games is going to cost us? Shit, for a good corner kicks.
Furiously Googling MLS money laundering. I'm going to say this is a 2-0 win.
2-0.
Strong
Good.
performance from the back line.
Not going to
Good
find the
enough
argument.
for me. I like.
Before we finish out, what month are we in? The month of March.
We are in March.
Maybe I should have said this beforehand, but since
please.
Pat Noonan took over, our winning percentage is 43% in March. It's tied for our lowest month
Ooh.
in MLS. And wait till you see our highest month. It's a lot more. But so in March history, we got 6 wins, 1 draw, 4 losses. I figured Noonan arrival was a solid point. I also was trying Lucho's arrival, but it's the Noonan era. So we're winning 43% of our games.
So with that information, we kind of have to predict a loss at Nashville as the final game of March, because otherwise we have picked 3 wins and 1 loss already in March. We need 1 more.
Draw.
What's Nashville all about, though, this year? You know, same old, same old. Another year of wear and tear on Hani Mukhtar. Stupid goalie.
Has draw energy all over it, though, where it's like it feels like they want this to be a rivalry. They want this to be a rivalry. We're grossly indifferent. If they were to beat us bigly, it might engender some anger and some feelings on our behalf. I just think it's a draw, and we're like, who are you? Is how we end up with this one.
We've got 3 draws versus them. But this is continue. We are the road team of MLS. We feast on the road. We love the road.
Love a road game.
Kevin, the average MLS team wins 24% of their road games since 2021.
Okay.
FCC, 45%.
Oh,
And since Noonan
stats.
since Noonan arrived,
Yeah.
ChatGPT, 56% of our road games are dubs.
better than a coin flip.
That's more than half. You'll take hey, in Vegas, you're coming home rich with 56%. With
That's
that
a
said, I'm not
defective
going to
slot
argue.
machine.
But if we do the math here, 56%, but yet our record in the month of March puts us just under. So I think a loss is fair. But don't get used to it, MLS. It's a long season. We're shaking off the cobwebs.
Like 3-2 loss here, something like that, where it's like the firepower was there, just like a bullshit VAR penalty takes
An
it
aggrieved
from,
loss.
Yeah.
Because we
Like-
love being aggrieved. So this could be our first, and against Nashville, it could be a great first chance to be like, wow, enjoy that one. The refs
Could have been like
handed it to
a
you on silver
well-earned
platter.
draw that turns into like a really shitty loss.
Give us our point back, you fucking assholes.
I'm doing that unless Chief, last chance to make the argument. 3-2 loss to Nashville.
Draw energy, but I'm not going to fight. I'm not going to get on my soapbox for this one.
Okay. Save the ammunition for later. We're going to need it in the month of April. Jonah, what is
April? I'm ready. No, sorry.
what's the win percentage in April look like?
I didn't get that far. No, just kidding. The second month, 54% since 2022 is our winning percentage in April. But I will say, to Chief's point, the last, he was tugging on a draw.
Mm-hmm.
The last 2 seasons combined, we've drawn 4 road games out of 34 games. So
Wow.
road draws are not
Really our thing.
No, we giveth and we taketh. We don't split hairs. Okay, that's somewhat.
Kind of makes
look
us
at any other teams, but that
makes us an all-American team. We don't like draws. Not in our nature.
not tonight, sister.
Felt wrong not to swing.
Yeah, so it might sway you from any road draws. But yeah, we're in April now, right?
I do like that. Yes, in April. It's New England, DC, Chicago, and Kansas City. New England has been wheeling and dealing. The problem there is it's been one Caleb Porter pulling the strings still in New England. They have not been good. They seem to have just traded almost the entire roster. New England and San Jose seem to have just been swapping players back and forth. It's very weird.
It's like two boats that are crashing and just swapping passengers. Like, we're both going down here. You take this guy. You take this guy. We're about to go on a run here, Kevin.
It's very
weird. April.
It feels like our month.
Going on a run. Spoiler alert.
Maybe Chicago has a little more fight with what's his name? Greg Berhalter in charge up there.
Nope.
No,
Yeah, I'm not feeling
Not
either.
buying that. Not buying that at all. New England win, and
Dope.
I think it's a convincing win. I think it's a 3-0, 2-0 win.
That's
Yeah.
3-0. That feels good.
Maybe I'd be a little nervous on the road, but that's got to
This
be
is
a
at
dub.
home, if it makes you feel better.
April, this is our month. It's not the month.
It's
I
our
don't
month.
want to get ahead of ourselves, but
Ooh, yes. DC United, again, not entirely clear what they're doing. They've been doing some wheeling and dealing, but it doesn't look like anything particularly interesting is happening there. That's a win, right?
It's a great matchup for the FC. You know, Miles, Matt, big, tall center backs matched up with Benteke.
Yep.
You know, he's going to thrive in an environment where he can be the biggest, baddest biatch on the planet. Not with us, baby. That's another win right there. That's Dub Club continues. That is a 2-1 victory to the FC.
also, is anyone thinking Benteke's going to get better the next year?
That's
Right.
very accurate.
I mean, if he's the same, it's a great year.
Right.
I think that's his peak MLS year. It's
Yeah.
all downhill. Also, DC United, you got to prove it to me. I'm not
Right.
buying it. I'm not going out on a limb for you. I won't believe it until they beat our brakes off. So
Yeah. They are annoying to play, and maybe that's the highest compliment I can give them right now.
but we got some big dubs against them too. So
Yes. It does take us to Chicago. This is in Chicago, Soldier Field on 4/19. It's a dub, yeah. I'm not buying it. They
No, I
have
will-
not brought in an interesting, good player to change things up here.
Chicago is annoying. Like they always seem to punch above their weight when they play us. They
That's
usually
true.
they give us a good game, despite the fact the team is usually awful. I'm still saying win, but I'm going to say it's going to be like of the 4-3 variety of the 3-2 variety. It's going to be you're going to have to get a late winner in this one. I feel like.
Okay. I like
I'll
a
go with
4-3.
that. We're very split with them. Our record over time, 5 wins, 3 draws, 17 goals. This is about as even as it gets. But remember, there's a lot of bad years in there. They're even with us. Last time we played, they beat us 1-0. What a funky year we had last year.
I have no memory of that game.
I don't either. 1-0 at TQL.
Doesn't look
I
like
don't
anything to
know.
me.
No, it was so weird. Like I said, the Fortress wasn't fortressing last year.
No.
I also don't think they have any home advantage for their home
I feel like
games.
they don't have a home. Like
Exactly.
nobody goes to those games.
And even if they do, it's not going to seem like it.
Right. They could
The
have
stadium's too big.
30,000 people there and it would look like nothing. Same thing with New England. They have the same problem there. New England has like a weirdly good attendance. Like everybody assumes they're a poorly attended team. They draw like 27,000 people a game. It just looks like nothing.
Yeah, they could fill Austin's stadium every week, but
Right.
at least
It'd be really
Tarpit or
funny if
something.
once they build their own stadium that drops like 10,000 because it turns out the draw was playing in a big NFL facility.
Like, oh, Gillette's got great bathrooms actually, so we hate to see it go.
Turns out their entire fan base is in like Providence, Rhode Island, and it was super convenient for them.
Big miss. Big miss.
That leads us to the 2:30 p.m. home kickoff against Kansas City. They've not been good for a little bit now.
They have not, but interestingly enough, Sporting Kansas City, we have never beaten.
We've played
one
them
loss.
twice.
Played twice, one loss, one draw.
We've never played
They've got a
them.
number in two matches.
One of our early horrible losses against them.
Busio, I believe, scored a hell of a goal against Teton, which was a bad look. But no, we've never played at Kansas City. It's one of the few away days that still hasn't happened as we are now 7
Very
years
strange.
in this
Very
league.
strange.
Great league. Schedule makes perfect sense.
Very strange.
Many people asking why.
Yeah, we had a game against them. They played. It was like a schedule loss game. I don't know if that was the Busio game or like Gideon Zalalem played. They benched.
Yes,
had nine new starters for the game because they had like a Champions League game or one of those things. Couldn't get it done. Couldn't get it done against a team full of guys with the number 47, 68. That was like, man, we are bad. We are bad.
Busio, I think, was 16 when he scored that goal.
Different.
So we owe him one. This is a dub.
We do owe him one.
But it's going to be like a close dub, like 1-0. Like it's not going to be a big high scoring affair.
If Lucho's on the team, they're a team who you haven't seen us in person. You think you know what it's like. You don't know. You don't know. If Lucho's not there, you think you know what Denke is like. You don't know.
You've never seen. All you've watched is film, and there just isn't enough film of what this team looks like without Lucho to really properly prepare for it. So either way, they ain't ready for this.
They got a guy man marking Obi the whole game. They're like, we don't know what's going on. We're confused. We don't know who your point man is.
Wait. I thought you said Luca and Lucho are different people. What the?
There's two of them.
It's already 5-0
They can
by the
fly
time
now.
you wake up. Yeah. This is our month.
What do we say is the final score here of this amazing victory?
Say 1-0.
Okay.
Fine. It's still a dub. I'll take it.
One.
Convincing 1-0. They never threatened.
It's like we have 80% possession and outshoot them 22-3.
They make us sweat out the last 10 minutes of the game. We're on pins and needles.
It'd be fun to win that game and then annoying to have only won that game 1-0.
Exactly.
That takes us to May.
Ooh.
Oh, by the way, we're claiming a clean sweep in April. Very exciting.
No, this is what we do. This is what the FC does. Is they rattle off like 7, 8, 9 wins in a row, and we start getting really, really excited.
Matt Doyle says this might be the best FCC team ever, but like the ones who are watching are like, it might not be though. So relax, okay.
Take away the goals.
I feel like we were hearing that last year. It was like, all right, chill out,
not
chill
so
out.
much, guys.
Yeah.
It takes us to May. Jonah, what's the win percentage in May?
Below 50%. Not great.
Okay.
8 wins, 2 draws, 5 losses since Pat Noonan showed up. But,
Damn.
it's okay. It's all right.
You said
we'll
8 wins, 10 losses?
No. Wait, what did I say?
I wasn't listening.
Is that math, not math? Are we in
May?
May? That doesn't make sense. No. ChatGPT. Do this for me, Kevin. Think about this for 1 second.
Okay.
8 wins. 2 draws. 5 losses. 47% winning percentage. Folks, that's 8 out of 15 games. That's more than 50%.
Wait a second.
That's more than 50%.
This is when you realize robots really aren't going to take the world over.
I'm looking at the other ones. The other ones hold true.
Okay. They passed the smell test.
Kinda. Some of them are true. Some of them are not. The good ones are true.
The good ones are true. I mean, we have, I think,
basically it's 50% down the line.
Yeah. I think we have 15 games in May anyway. So we may have to put this record to the test. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games in the month of May, just in MLS alone.
Really?
According to my schedule here. Yes.
I'm not like questioning you. I'm like, that's
okay.
Jesus
a lot of matches. A lot of matches.
I'm looking
That's
at the teams,
insane.
making sure a USL team didn't sneak in here somewhere. Yeah.
Wow.
Damn. Including a Hell is Real right smack dab in the middle. It is
Literally.
the 4th game. Oof.
Cool.
So that starts us off at New York City at City Field this time, allegedly.
We have unfinished business with NYCFC.
You're going 5 in a row?
5 in a row.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. 5 in a row.
I was ready to drop the fat L It was like, I don't like playing them.
Wait do you see where I've got this? See where I've got this team going here.
No, I don't want that could mean so many things.
Wooden spoon, here we come.
Yeah. The fucking cliff is coming. I want to know Kevin's thoughts. What were you thinking before Chief so
I was
boldly?
thinking Kevin Denke came to watch that last playoff game against NYCFC. This could be his own personal revenge game.
His prove it game.
Yes.
But this is, if you would have had me last year, things would have gone differently.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm hoping.
I'm feeling that. I like that.
Kevin, I'm not going to be number 2.
I'm predicting a win. We're keeping the good vibes rolling, baby.
What if we just never lost like all credibility? Gone. You gotta save these for when you do the weekly, prediction for the upcoming game. Like, well, before the year, like, God, we were so simple back then. It all seemed so straightforward.
Seemed so easy back then.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Kevin Denke scores in the first 5 minutes, and then it is white knuckle defense the rest of the game.
He can't do. We need him to score late in the game so we can rip off that shirt and show off that fucking incredible torso of his. But I was like, if he scores in the first 5 minutes, it's like a quick yellow card for Denke, ripping his shirt off.
It's also still a little cold for the shirt rip. Like, we're gonna save the shirt, saving the shirt rip for a little later in the season. Ooh, wait, this is May 4th. It's Star Wars Day. We can't lose on Star Wars Day. That's
we have Obi. Yeah,
we have Obi. Yeah.
Obi.
It's also a 5 p.m. game. Hey, look at that. We're getting a few rando times.
They like us.
Hell is real at 7. Wow.
Yeah, I saw that too. Atlanta at 7.
But is that a real kickoff time Saturday, or is that like pregame at 7 for some bullshit? Or I don't know.
I don't know.
They don't do pre-games on Apple TV. That would cost money.
I didn't know that was going to be one of those random FS1 simulcasts.
We're doing 20-minute previews now.
Yeah.
Let's go.
For this season. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, I'm giving us a 1-0 victory at New York City. Jonah, I know you wanted a loss, but you've been outvoted.
I didn't want. I'm happy to jump on the bandwagon. I'm rooting against this team this year because Lucho is making me sad. So.
Let me just spoil where this is going.
Okay, please.
This team will be riding a multi-match undefeated streak going into Hell is Real.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Like,
undefeated. Okay, I can take that.
Well, can I just say something? Assuming ChatGPT got this right, 30% of FCC's home games since the start of 2021 have ended in a draw. So home games, we don't mind a draw. So that's where my heart's going for Austin FC. We're like, Austin FC, we've played one time. Like, what is this? What are we doing? Who are you? Who's your coach now? Literally, I don't know. So I'm saying
Dallas
draw
manager,
because we can't win them all, but you don't have to lose any.
I don't mind a draw here. My only hesitation is Austin has all the makings of one of the worst teams ever. Yeah, I know we are well before they go out and sign, 2 Mexican internationals or whatever, but they feel like an incredibly low ambition team right now.
Sometimes we play to our opponent, is all I'm saying.
That is true.
But
this is
Dub.
Chiefs has thoughts.
The thought is
I've been outvoted.
Dub.
No, it's a draw. I'm sticking with team draw.
You guys are crazy.
Austin's
going to be terrible.
Draw.
Austin has been in a free fall since their first year. They're not going to be
mattered.
good.
I don't think it matters. The lack of familiarity with these teams, that you just throw the records out when these two come together.
Throw the records out. They've never seen each other.
Throw the record.
Kevin,
the one
where
game.
are we at? Where are we at right now?
This gives us 26 points
out of a possible
whatever 12 times 3 is. Quickly,
36.
So we're doing pretty good.
Yeah, no, we're going to be either in first place or we're going to be above Columbus on the table when this match happens at Hell is Real. We're just going to keep winning, and it's going to make what happens at Hell is Real even more painful.
You son of a bitch. Our only loss right now is to Nashville.
Yep.
And that is 3-2. Just
Oh yeah, no, I can see this coming a mile away here. the vibes. You're wrong. You're both wrong on this Austin match. We're gonna beat Austin at home. We're gonna beat Toronto in Toronto, and the vibes are going to be off the charts going into Hell is Real.
It's so hard to believe that we won our last game at there.
we did.
Like a fever dream at this point.
You guys have any thoughts of going back? I've got my opinion. No.
Zero.
I didn't like. I wasn't. There was no FOMO. I was like, this happened because I'm not there. That's
exactly
okay.
right.
I don't need to be a part of this.
If I had made the choice to buy tickets, this would have the outcome would have been changed. It would have been like a Heisenberg uncertainty thing going on.
I had to drive north for Thanksgiving, and I took a slightly longer route to avoid going through the city of Columbus.
Appreciate your sacrifice on that one.
As most should. But
I don't want to be there. A win at Toronto, though, makes a whole lot of sense.
It's hard to pick against that.
2-0 victory there, which leads us to Hell is Real, the very odd 7 p.m. kickoff at lower.com field. Chief, I know you're predicting a loss here.
Yes.
What if Cucho Hernandez is flying his trade in Liga MX and Wilfred Nancy is the Coach of the Year candidate in France at this time? Does that change your opinion?
Do you think that's going to happen?
I don't think it's impossible to happen.
Do you think it's going to happen?
I hope it happens.
Do you think
I don't think it's going to happen.
Then we're going to lose this game.
Oh, God damn it.
How many coaches or managers have left a club in the middle of the year for job openings? Like, does that, because when the way that schedule lines up for him to go to Europe, it feels like it has to be during a season.
The only coach off the top of my head in MLS that has done it was Ronnie Delia left NYCFC after winning MLS Cup to take over for a team in Belgium.
Yeah. But he never... Did he...
I don't know when... I don't know if he started the
yeah.
season with them or not.
Yeah.
He might have, but yeah, that's the only one I can think
So
of.
what we're saying, though, is that if...
It's a pretty rare thing.
If Wilfred Nancy doesn't take over for somebody in the off season that was like a fire over in Europe, he's going to be here for the rest of the year. So we have a very limited window for Nancy to leave.
I mean, maybe if they sell off Cucho and the season starts a little rougher, maybe it increases the likelihood of him taking a job in France. I don't know.
Isn't the one guy supposed to be leaving too? The white guy? Aiden Morris.
Oh yeah,
isn't he going to England?
Did leave,
like championship or something like that? Or?
He left. He's gone to the championship.
Is there any chance that I feel like the way that Middlesbrough, the way FCC plays, I can't see that falling off a cliff. Obviously, playing with Lucho is different. Mm-hmm. Is there any way that Nancy Ball, the one that just makes the MLS writers so rock hard?
Yes.
Something about it we don't quite grasp. I've watched videos on him on YouTube about the way they play. Something about it. It'll just be like not a flash in the pan. It's been too long, but something about it falls off a cliff. That's my dream. I don't know what it is, but something happens with the way they play, and all of a sudden they're leaking like a sieve, which has happened before, and the goals aren't coming, and all of a sudden it is a total mess.
Crisis.
That's the dream I have for that team right now.
The dream you're having there is the classic, the players just need a new voice. They're tired of hearing the same voice, or the same message isn't resonating. And so the same like speech you give in the locker room or the same tactics you employ, players tune you out because it's been the same thing over and over again. That happens in pro football and college football every so often, where it's like the team is still good. They just need to hear it from someone else. That's kind of the dream with Nancy, I would say.
I don't like this comparison, to be clear, and I'm willing to cancel myself for it.
I feel like I can hear it already, Kevin.
Manchester City has kind of done this.
Yeah, I mean, it would be unfathomable that they would be on this run, even if they were like, wow, Man City isn't really in a rut. I know, but they just won today or yesterday.
Yeah, they did win today. Their
whatever,
first win in 26 days.
It's just like, it doesn't make any sense. Just based on who's on their team and stuff like that. So, that just proves literally anything's possible.
Mark my words, though, if like Columbus goes on, they lose 5 or 6 games in a row, that whole thing about finding the Russian bot army, I will find the Russian bot army for Nancy out and try to convince ownership that there's a season ticket boycott happening and they need to fire the manager immediately.
It is a new front office in charge. From
they need to get their own guy. You need to get your own guy. That's rule number 1.
Before they've even seen him like do bad, they're like, we need someone who I can really speak to. But if I were him, and I'm saying, I'm not just trying to put this out in the universe, he does just as well this next year. Is his stock that much higher than it is right now? I feel like it could only go down. I don't know what his agent is telling him, but it feels like as good a time as ever to.
Has he ever said he wants to leave? Because that's like my nightmare, is that he just is really happy in MLS.
I feel like he's mentioned, I could just be inventing this, like every other player, like, I have dreams of coaching at the biggest level. I mean, he said the Shield over the Cup. The man is like European. Yes. It's in his blood. He wants to win a Shield somewhere else, which is winning the league. He's like, a tournament is a tournament. So I think in his heart of hearts, he wants to go.
And I believe he was Henry's assistant. That's how he sort of got the Montreal gig. So I feel like he's got connections in France that could land him an opportunity that maybe the average MLS coach couldn't quite get. So you got to use those, is what I'm trying.
We need a reasonably well-known French team who's on a skid to fire their manager. Maybe they have. It's got to be one French team is owned by an American, or who's like not afraid of hiring an MLS coach.
Right.
Yeah.
What was it? I'm gonna butcher the pronunciation. Le Havre. They're currently in the relegation zone. They have American owners. They're the ones who brought in Bob Bradley back in the day.
Yeah.
So we gotta start spamming that team. The mentions online. Just look at this Wilfred Nancy guy.
He's from that's where he's born.
Oh,
apparently.
Come on. He's got to save the boyhood club. For what it's worth, Saint Etienne is currently 16th out of 18 teams in France. That puts him in the relegation playoff. That's a historic, that's a big club in France. I imagine they've already fired and hired a new manager recently, but if that keeps slipping.
Oh, you'll be shocked to learn PSG is at the top of the table.
What?
What an exciting league they have there.
Marseille has American ownership.
Okay.
Frank
they're also like
is very rich.
They're doing very well right now.
Yeah.
Lille
Nice,
has brought in
Jim Ratcliffe, British. Oh, he's not. He's not. That's just he's British. Different. Sorry, not the same. But yeah.
Yeah, there's options. What we're trying to say is there's options. But
Wilfred, if you're listening, there's options.
We do need to predict this match.
3-1 to the Crew.
You son of a bitch.
Is it 1-1 at halftime though? Because that feels more right.
Yeah. No, it's 1-0 at half. We claw one back to even, and then give up 2 more.
Oh.
Why not?
Oh, 3-1. That's such a depressing thing to type here. Then we go on the road to Atlanta.
And the hangover, not only hell is real, the hangover is real. Oh. I'm saying this is a 1-1 draw.
The rare.
The road draw.
The rare road. Haven't we had a road draw in Atlanta before already, though? Wasn't that our first game in Atlanta?
It was. The second game ever.
So there's a history of road draws in Atlanta.
It happened one time.
No, it's happened. There's been another, I feel like maybe.
So I say road draw. Jonah, you've made this as a road trip before. Will there be any interest in making this a return trip to the Atlanta area for this match?
Loved the first time. Second time was the last pre-COVID trip. So that was memorable for that. That was right before the world ended for a while. Seems unlikely, but it's okay. It's fine. I've enjoyed it more than Columbus. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Nicer facilities too.
And cheap concessions. They do. That's the nice thing they do. I don't know if they still do that, but
yeah. I knew they did it for NFL. I wasn't sure if they offer that to the MLS.
I'm pretty sure they do, but it's always on no Chick-fil-A. Is it Saturday or Sunday?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Good question. What is
but
it?
also, I don't want to go if it's a Sunday because then I got
you
get back to work on Monday.
Yeah. It is a Sunday. It turns out that's awful. No,
get out of here. Boo.
Yeah, that sucks. It's a Sunday at 7 p.m. too. Oh.
No, probably not going to that one unless there's a holiday the next day. We tied them 0-0 in 2022 at Mercedes-Benz. So we have drawn on the road there. Yes.
I mean,
it actually is a holiday. Memorial Day is the next day after this. That makes more sense. So that actually increases
back on the table.
Road trips back on the table, but no Chick-fil-A, which is trash.
Yeah.
Because the city of Atlanta sucks. And we talked about this before in the podcast.
Whoa, this is a controversial take, Chief.
What? Atlanta? It's a truck stop with if it wasn't for air conditioning, the city would be a truck stop. It's one giant traffic jam. It's horrendously laid out. There's no culture there. Like what? They celebrate the fact that CNN and Coca-Cola, cool. You have produced two things that are actively killing the population of Americans.
The airport.
The airport is one of the worst places ever. I actively look to try and avoid flying through Atlanta if I can avoid it.
As a very stupid young airline employee at CVG, I got my flight benefits, and my roommate was my flight companion, which meant he could fly for free with me. Standby. We don't have our passports. Where do we go? Puerto Rico, of course. Let's go to Puerto Rico.
Absolutely.
No plans, no hotel, no nothing. Idiots. Anyways, that part's fine. We're like, all right, time to go back home. It's Sunday. Atlanta, huge airport. We'll just fly through Atlanta and catch a flight home on Sunday. You won't believe it, but it's very hard to fly standby in Atlanta on a Sunday. Needless to say, we spent an extra day in the Atlanta airport and ended up flying home to Dayton. Was as close as we could get. But lesson learned. And then I got back and was like, yeah, why would you try to do that? I was like, there were so many flights, but apparently they were all full. But Max would mention that Atlanta is Black Mecca. So it's not for you, Chief. OK. And I will say you'll never see more black people in your life in a good way. It's like you don't realize how many white people are in some of these places until you go to Atlanta. But the culture is the music. Atlanta has produced just endless amounts of music. And
it would be
for that we're thankful.
Like it wouldn't even make the top 5 best cities to have produced, especially hip hop music.
Wow.
There's going to be a lot of people who disagree with that.
This is very controversial.
I'm sorry. On the Mount
I'd love
Rushmore,
to hear 4 and 5 or something.
Yeah, right.
New York, L.A., New Orleans.
Lil Wayne doing a lot of heavy lifting in New Orleans.
Detroit.
I don't know. I mean, Houston would be one as well. But
Houston, definitely Houston.
Miami, maybe.
Miami, I
think general consensus would be Atlanta is top
overrated.
3.
What, like Ludacris? No, like he was a radio DJ. Outkast is fun. Outkast had 3 good albums, and then they were like, "We hate one another. We're never making music ever again."
Just a lot of trends, Atlanta was like the mecca for they had a grip on rap radio for 3-4 solid years. So.
But was it good rap radio?
Some.
After Atlanta, we come home to play host to FC Dallas, another team that is confusing. I don't know where they stand on the ambition.
Also, have we played them? When did we play them?
We played them in Dallas at least once.
We've only played that. Yeah, okay. We've played them twice. We've never hosted them ever.
Okay.
We won the last game 1-0. And they beat us in our inaugural season 3.
And watching that game. I think it was the
not a
Samurai
lot to
Jack
go off of on this one. Yeah. Weren't they selling Jesus Ferreira? Might be an inter MLS trade happening. Did that happen? Is that happening?
That's strong rumors for both Ferreira and Paul Arriola to go to Seattle. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
one or the other, or if both are an option. But yeah, they're looking to get rid of some guys.
Are they not their two best players? I don't follow FC Dallas closely. That seems like their two best players.
They have an Argentine whose name is escaping me right now, who is very good, but has been very injured. That is, he got a call up to the senior national team based on his play with Dallas, but then broke his leg.
I don't know. I'm sure Grayson would have something to say about that. Like when we were playing Orlando, it's like, well, they have this Brazilian. I'm like, I don't know who you're talking about.
Right.
It can't be that great. But give me the names I know. They just happen to both be Americans.
Right. So this is a dub. Does anybody have a different?
I'm in on that.
You're trying to sell the trade in MLS. I mean,
Right.
I don't understand what's happening. I don't follow FC Dallas, but that is the Dallas Real Derby. I don't know if you remember that.
Yes.
Dallas is the team we played right after Hell is Real.
That's right. The Dairy Cow logo is still an all-timer.
Shout out to Springsteen for the Dairy Cow Dallas. There were a few Dallas fans who got it, and a few who were like, what's going on? Ice Sky so mad at FC Dallas. Just the way we work.
You had some great, like, their owner was actually something some good stuff.
I don't know what I said about them, but my heart wasn't in it. Yeah, dub.
Is this a big win, a small win, Chief? What are you feeling?
Just regular win, normal win,
normal
last
2-1.
2-1 feels
2-1's a regular win to me. I don't know why.
Like, I wish we could keep that clean sheet.
Yeah, it's an MLS clean sheet for sure. There. God, why I can't remember that guy's name. I'm gonna have to look it up. Then we host FC. Jesus Christ. DC United, that's the one.
We play FC Dallas
again. The baton death march of a month comes to a close.
There's no way we've played, besides MLS is back, there's no way we've played this many games in a month for MLS, right?
Right. No,
there's no way.
Not.
Why is it so packed in?
Because the Club
we only
World
play
Cup,
3 games in June. That's
why. Club World Cup shows up and we ain't doing nothing. Alan Velasco. There you go. Finally got his damn name. That they're good there.
Well, we're going to embarrass his ass. That's for sure.
Well, DC United probably hasn't gotten that much better since the first time we played them. And now we get them at home.
Fortress match. This is the last game that you'll see the FC play at home for a full calendar month. Soak it up. 5-0.
And you know what's going to blow people's minds and what's going to get Chief a little bit weird on the podcast? None of those were Denke.
None.
Nope. We're like, well, how could there be, and because he gambled on it. He's like, how could there be 5 goals and Denke? Like that used to happen. There'd be like FCC scored 5 and we're like, oh, did Brenner get one? And be like, he didn't.
Nope.
Like what? How is it possible?
Brenner
funny
didn't
like
even
that.
play.
Or FCC scored 4. Brenner scored all of them, and then we'll take the next month off.
Burrow 5 touchdowns. Jamar Chase. I didn't get one. Actually,
no. Didn't really.
No, that was that fact pointed out to me multiple times because of $500 riding on the line on that one in terms of a parlay win. Not that much bet, but that was the back leg that was needed for a very, very large win. Was just 1 touchdown from Jamar Chase yesterday. Just one.
At least he didn't drop one for you.
Right. Yeah.
Or the announcer literally said, "Cut, dropped." I was like, that one stinks.
June, there are only 3 games. They are all on the road as TQL Stadium plays host to a handful of Club World Cup matches. New England is the first one up. Road Warriors?
After a full, they'd have almost 2 weeks of rest. Yeah.
Too much rest?
Too much rust versus rest right here. The age-old question, the age-old debate.
After the 5-0 beatdown of DC United. Jonah, what say you?
L. An illogical L. didn't see it coming. Or it's one of those things where like if you're flipping a coin, like at one point it's got to be tails, you know?
Yeah, right.
That's really the logic there. We took it to him at home. These things happen sometimes, and it hurts even more when it's Caleb Porter. But at some point, you got to lose a game. And I don't.
Yeah. I think this is a loss coming out of the because much like the last time we had our big vibes win 5-0, everyone feels riding high. What happens next? Old letdown. It's a letdown game. I have this. It's a 2-0 loss.
2-0. Okay.
2-0.
2-0. Not even a goal. Damn.
Yeah.
That puts us on a train that I assume goes north to Montreal. I bet we go home in between. It's a good 10 days.
I don't know. Montreal's not a bad place to spend the week.
It's also a very long train ride, too. So,
right.
Can you take a train to Montreal from Cincinnati? I'll bet you can't even take a train from Montreal to Cincinnati.
Well, you can go anywhere from Cincinnati if you go to like Chicago first. So there's a lot of.
Do they have cross-border trains between the U.S. and Canada?
That's what I was just wondering. And I bet it only happens at like Detroit. So it's probably a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Oh, what if you had to I'll bet it's something fucked up where you have to go all the way to the West Coast and then go north to Vancouver and then come all the way back across
cross-country
again.
trips.
It's like 2 cross-country trips to get to.
Well, when it's the 51st state, it shouldn't be an issue.
It will definitely build a train.
Why would Canada be the 51st state? Why wouldn't it be like the 51st, 52nd, 53rd, and 54th? They have provinces already.
Why would provinces?
You've already thought further than the people claiming this are, including the Shark Tank guy who is proven to be. I'm just been seeing Canadians roast no, please keep him. We don't want Kevin O'Leary anymore. He's American now.
So according to Apple Maps, so your mileage may vary here, to get to Montreal via train has you taking 2 days and 3 hours. Wait a second. This is via transit, and I just noticed one of these says Greyhound, so there may be some cheating involved here.
That's not, no. I want to know how you would get, if you are dropped off at Union Station downtown, how long it would take to get to Montreal taking nothing but rail transit.
Okay, you can go to Toronto from New York on a train.
Yeah.
All right, so that's probably it. You got to take
2 days and 3 hours. If you were to leave right now, again, this still says bus.
Well,
I said no buses.
Whatever. Yeah, how long of that is also waiting because the only train departs Cincinnati at 4 a.m.
According to this, the longest wait is 29 minutes. Oh. That can't be right.
No, that's false.
This has you going to Athens, Ohio. Again, I think there's a lot of buses here that have snuck in to Cleveland, to Buffalo, to Albany, to New York, and then back up to Montreal.
There's no way this is right. There's not a train to Athens, Ohio. If there was a train to Athens, Ohio, every drunk college student would be on that back and forth coming home.
This is clearly just taking Greyhounds.
Yeah.
My only thought is maybe there's a package deal with Amtrak. I don't know what this map is doing. Never mind. Disregard, disavow even.
All right. Let's see here.
What would it take? All right. This is an incredible fantasy football or some sort of fantasy punishment, is that you have to get to Montreal is a good spot because you're trying to figure out the realities of cross-border jurisdiction as well, that you must take a train somewhere.
I would love it. That would be fun. I would be tempted to take a train vacation like people take a cruise vacation.
They used to do that. They used to have you could do that across country where they had the panoramic roof that you could sit and watch the countryside go by.
That sounds nice.
So your two options, Cincinnati to Chicago, and then you basically go across the Great Lakes all the way to Albany, then straight up to Montreal. Or you go Cincinnati to Washington, D.C., and then go up that way.
My sister has taken that train. That's a lovely train. If it runs on time. Or if they actually let you board it. There was a story this week where an Amtrak train in DC just left because they didn't open the doors to let people board, because apparently there's some regulation that Amtrak has that you can't wait on the platform for the train. You have to wait till the train arrives in order to walk out to the platform.
such a good idea for a train to do.
Like, I just want to know who the conductor was. Like, wow, I guess nobody's taking this train today. Off we go. Like, they didn't like call in time. Like, are you sure no one booked any tickets on this train?
Right. Well, they would have had like a manifest of some kind that like some people were trying to get on this train.
And also, is this like the first Amtrak conductor in history that was obsessed with being on time? Like, I've never seen a train in the United States run on time.
Oh, nobody's here? Boys, let's go get lunch.
Let's roll. Time's a wasting.
Montreal on the road. We can't pick a draw. We've already lost to New England.
Oh, we're winning Montreal.
Okay.
Thank God.
Montreal.
So
Kevin, what would it take for you to take a train to Montreal?
Free fare? Like, I would do that in a heartbeat. That sounds nice.
I'm trying
2 days.
It says
by
I can
rail.
book it on here, and then like it's not the most
funniest
user-friendly website.
The funniest possible outcome if Jonah ends up with non-refundable train tickets to Montreal and has to go to this game.
Away days just got booked.
Be a hell of a podcast. Like, well, we're still on the train.
On the train.
We've missed the game plus a week.
We're bored in Cincinnati at 2 a.m.
As is always the case with this sort of thing, the train ride there is probably lovely. The train ride back is miserable.
Of course.
Cincinnati to Montreal. All right.
So we've done nothing to preview this game. It's just we have figured out how to get there by.
It is possible. And also apparently via Greyhound bus.
Okay, when is the Montreal? Give me the date again. I don't want to switch tabs. This is too important.
6/25, which is
what
a
month
Wednesday.
is 6? Don't make me do that. January, February, March, April, May, June. All right, June. June 6th. So I should probably leave the week before, right?
I would try to get there sometime
Friday?
on the
game's a
20th, 21st, or 22nd of June.
June.
Depending on what you're
I
available.
thought you said
on.
June 6th.
No, sorry.
June 25th.
June
Oh, I heard that
25th.
wrong. I was like, it's a Friday. June 25th. All right, we got more time then. That's good. We're going to need that.
You got more of a buffer.
Oh, it's a Wednesday?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll leave on the Wednesday before that. All right.
Oh, okay. We're going to need 2 weeks to get there.
Yeah,
back.
we are.
Awesome.
Fine
Working remote.
trains.
Don't worry about it.
Juneteenth, you have off, if you plan
That is true.
your holidays correct.
Well, I mean, as of right now, I've got nothing but free time to try this stuff out.
It's not even letting me hit find trains. It's like,
It does not like this plan.
See, this is just like there's a transit guy listening to this episode being like, this is what I'm talking about. This is in a properly developed country. It would be easier to get a train. And if that's you, my response to you is, yes, I wish you were right. I wish things were different.
This trip cannot be booked. So that's what it says. Let's just try Chicago. Let's see if we can get from Chicago. We can go to the next game too. Union Station.
No, we cannot.
This trip cannot be booked.
Google
must be
does
something
the
special
same.
about the crossing aspect that you need.
Or I think it's probably because like the trains only run on certain days of the week. That like if you're trying to go on whatever day it is, it's just like, sorry, it doesn't. This only runs Monday, Wednesday, Friday. There's no way to get there.
Yeah, I'm like, I'll literally come back any day. Just let me fucking book this so I can see. I want to see it.
Okay, so this is the way to do it. You've got to take the Cardinal train to Chicago and then the Wolverine train.
Hell yeah.
To Detroit. And then in Detroit,
you take the Deadpool train to Montreal.
You got to take a bus into Windsor. And once you're at Windsor, then you can get the train over to Montreal.
So we can't take the ride through our beautiful country first?
I don't think there's going to be a clean way to book a train trip into Canada.
I don't know. There is something pretty metal about taking a bus trip through Detroit. That's pretty.
But it's downtown Detroit. That's like
it's still Detroit, man.
You're saying the bus station's going to be nicer in downtown Detroit? That was your theory, Kevin?
Yes, that is my theory. My
no,
theory
we're the
is
downtown bus. Like, that doesn't sound like we're the suburbs. Like,
No.
Which side of 8 Mile is the bus on? That's what I really need to know here.
it's the abandoned suburbs are the scary bits in my mind. The gentrified, spots around the baseball park and the football stadium, those are probably fine. It's
All Detroit is fine. It's a vibe.
It's once you get a little further out. It's where things get a
And
little
by the way,
wild.
I'm not worried about the average Detroit fans. I'm just worried that if I'm traveling for this game, I might bump into some of those skeleton glove wearing ruffians from Detroit City FC.
Yes.
And I just don't want to talk with them. I'm not frightened of them. I just don't want to interact with them.
Well, for what it's worth, they don't actually play in Detroit. So
They do not.
They're fake.
They play in like a parking lot for an abandoned transmission plant or something.
Yeah.
I got us closer.
Oh?
We can get to Burlington, Vermont.
That's
which is
lovely area.
That's when you're close. We're getting close.
Okay.
That's a 23-hour train ride
Okay.
from Chicago. So that doesn't even count getting to Chicago. But
Oh, okay.
there's 2 segments.
I was thinking it was from New York because there's the Vermonter line that goes pretty far north into.
You don't transfer until you get to Schenectady, New York.
Oh, okay.
So the first part of the train ride is 15 hours, which
Hot day.
it's bad. But like, if you think like I'm going to another country, you can talk yourself into it,
I also think of
Also,
it
private
this
rooms
way.
for $944. If you're ever going to splurge, that might be the time.
The airplane may only be in the air for 2 hours, but you got to get there to the airport.
You ever heard of a
early,
train
you gotta
crashing?
get
Doesn't
through
happen, Kevin. Doesn't
No.
happen.
Never.
Do they have a Sky Club at the train station?
The ground club, you mean?
The Rail Club?
The Rail Club. I think that's Cincy Jacks.
Orlando
are we playing next?
on 628.
I'm gonna keep booking this train, but yeah, I'll be with you in spirit.
You tell us. We go to Orlando at the end of June. Oh boy, it's gonna be a warm game. 7:30 kickoff. Orlando, bit of a mixed bag. A team that tends to start slow and get stronger as the year goes on. Has weirdly had our number the last couple of years. I don't have stats in front of me like some people here, but that feels right.
Well, since Jonah's booking our train transportation.
I'm trying to get back to this stats.
No, you're fine.
Orlando.
We have played them quite a bit. 11 matches. We have 3 wins, 3 draws, 5 losses. A robust -8 goal differential.
Yeah.
Folks, it has not been pretty when we're playing Orlando. I always feel like it's low scoring affairs down there too. That whenever we play in Orlando, these games are all 1-0, 1-1. They won in Montreal.
Lost to New England before that.
I'm gonna say it's another win in Orlando. I'm gonna say it's a 1-0 win in Orlando.
Had a 1-0 loss.
Oh, brother.
Puts it to you, Jonah.
I'll tell you what, if it's July, no spoilers, I'm locking in the dub because we are Mr. July. That is FCC. We dominate the month of July.
We're going to need that.
We're 50% in June, FYI. And I double checked the math. That one was easy for me to figure. ChatGPT got that one right. God.
We have 1 win and 1 loss in June.
We're coming off that Montreal win. But this is 3 days later.
3 days
from
later. That's
Montreal.
a long train.
That's a big
ride.
swing
To
from
Orlando.
Canada to Orlando too.
That's not nothing for 3 days, no practice. So either we're going to come out and really shock us, but I think I'm with Kevin with a 1-0 loss. I hate to be Debbie Downer,
feel
but
good.
we can't rise like a phoenix unless we have a few down moments. So
I like it. I mean, I don't like it.
what?
I love when we lose.
I love
Everybody knows this.
Everybody knows Kevin's like the
People probably
podcast
do
does so
think
much
that.
better after a loss.
Right. Watch those downloads. Go somewhere else. Cincinnati hosts Chicago to kick off July. This is a tough one. I'm just going to read this out. We host Chicago on the 5th. On the 12th, we host Columbus for Hell is Real. But 4 days later, we host Inter Miami. 3 days after that, we go on the road to Salt Lake City, deal with the altitude. A week later, we're back in Miami playing.
So we
Inter
got the
Miami.
Chicago game is a must win here. This is the definition of a must win game.
It's gonna be tough.
We're close to America's birthday right here, July 4th weekend. Vibes high, booze flowing. It's going to be hot. I'm seeing an FC win 2-0.
4th of July weekend in Chicago would be a fun road trip. You know there will be tickets available. Just
Always.
kidding. That's at home, guys.
That's
I
at
am
home
a
game.
moron.
I had it here. I was like, well, yeah, it would be. Plus, we're already
If they were
taking our
playing in
train
Chicago,
there.
which they are not.
Maybe you do the road trip anyway.
What if we're just getting back into Chicago from Montreal? We've already missed so much.
Sadly, yeah.
Our
There's
families
nothing
are
that we
scared. Are they really? Have we been
Hey guys, what did we
abandoned?
miss?
Is Vietnam War breaking out again? Or are we draft dodging? Are we staying in Canada?
Yeah, maybe we do want to take a very long train ride to Montreal. It might be better than the alternative.
We missed July 4th. No, we gotta. Yeah, that's a must win, and I think we do win.
I think it's a 2-0 victory. Does anybody
I agree
want
with
to?
that. I'm
Okay.
agreeing.
Chicago.
Dos Cicero for Berhalter, huh?
Oh, yeah, not great. Not Dos Cicero.
57% of our games in July we have won since Pat Noonan came. So it's
Hosting
just about our best month.
Columbus. We get finally a normal break or a normal match week leading up to the Columbus match.
Yeah.
7 days.
Dub.
What? Chief is saying dub.
Split the season
I
series.
was going to
with them.
say 2-2, but a win claim pushes the dub away.
1-0.
1-0.
Nail biter.
Oh God, I don't want to watch it.
Oh,
I don't want to watch
I'd
it.
rather lose.
Tell me we score late.
Late.
We score late.
late.
Okay,
Like
I'll take
70th
that.
minute goal.
Otherwise, it's like we score in the 10th minute, and then like for 80 minutes they just dominate us, and we're just holding on because we don't know how to
Jonah?
play with a lead.
Jonah, if you were asking for it earlier, the shirt comes off for this one with Kevin Denke scoring the only goal of the match.
Now we're talking.
then-
4 days later, hosting Inter Miami. Good God.
I'm
Messi's
saying dub
hurt.
as well on that one too.
That's insane.
No, this is exactly when you want to get Inter Miami.
They're
They
missing
are-
tons of players. We don't know why yet, but
they're all
Yeah,
sitting.
this is when they're summering. They're taking this is when they're taking a couple matches off. They're rotating players. They're giving people their minutes breaks, and we're not going to see their A lineup on a midweek game traveling cross country to Cincinnati. Nope. This is going to be a win. You'll be shocked when it happens, but you won't in hindsight when you see what the rotated lineup they're rolling out there for a midweek match. Dub at home, FC Cincinnati, 2-1. Messi does not play
Whoa.
also
But Lucho Acosta does.
for Miami.
Telegraph that one. 10 days later, they can have their revenge too. So it's like they'll be like, "All right,
Right.
have your fun. We'll see you
Salt
soon."
Lake City 3 days later. If we're coming off back-to-back wins, the starters got to be tired. We're going at altitude. RSL is pretty good these days.
If I hadn't looked at the stats of 4 draws in 2 seasons, how many road draws have we picked so far?
1 against Atlanta, I believe.
So can I use my second draw of the year here? Is my question. Kevin, it sounds like you were going pretty hard for a loss, which could mean back-to-back losses if we're headed to Miami after that. I want Chiefs takes before I hear yours. So what do you think? Are on the road, Real Salt Lake, a team I will never believe in based on nothing.
The name alone.
America First Field.
We should start a
Where we're
rivalry.
playing.
Hell is Real.
Nice.
Everything's a hell is pun for all rivalries. Like,
Yeah.
okay.
Mormon hell is Real. Mormon heaven is not. So you don't get your own planet. Sorry. Loss. I don't know. Like, you're coming off back-to-back wins. Your biggest part of your schedule, vibes high. Feels like a letdown game. Feels like a rotation game specifically. But I based that on nothing. Seattle, like RSL's been pretty decent the last couple of years. At least last year they were pretty good.
Yeah.
I feel like they're always decent. I just don't respect them. I don't know why.
Jonah, could I talk you into a loss to RSL but a draw against Miami on the road?
So you're saying use the second draw. Let's say we only get 2 road draws for the year. You could talk me into that. A draw is a win. I always love one of those.
I mean,
because on aggregate, then that means we dominated Inter Miami. Horrible weather, stormy.
It would be Miami. our month. Oh my God.
Yeah, you guys are begging for an RSL loss. You can have it. All right. You're so desperate for a loss.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
On that midnight train.
We lost 2-0. Hell yeah. So draw in Miami. How many goals are we sharing?
2.
Is it 1-1?
No, 2-2.
2-2. Sorry, we were sharing 2. Now we're sharing 4. It's fine. It was confusing.
That's like me when I was reading the records against the teams. Like, oh, we have 2 draws and they have 2 draws, and it clicked on me. Eventually, I was like, wait, that's the same draw. Why is it always the same number?
It's insane symmetry.
Crazy how that works out.
We played them 40 times.
Chat GPT.
Oh, that lets us escape the hellish month that is July. Finally, for the rest of the year, we play a normal amount of games per month. This takes us to August. Jonah?
Not a great month for us.
I was going to say, I feel like we're bad the last half of the year.
No Leagues Cup break this year. That I feel like that has to be mentioned. And so the no momentum killing break. There is we're off 2 weeks at the start of the month, I think, right?
Yeah, September and October we'll have the international breaks to contend with.
So August we start off with a week off. Then we play the CLT at home. Dub
6 p.m. hosting. Very
Sunday
exciting.
though. It's a Sunday.
Ooh, okay. Very exciting.
Is August 11th anything in the world? Is that date?
It's like back to school. I don't know.
Oh God, it is. I think it is.
Sorry.
It's also Son and Daughter Day. It's Chad's Independence Day. For all the Chads out there and for the African country.
Chad's Independence Day is every day.
National Align Your
Verges
Teeth Day.
need not apply.
Chad's only. Chad from KLR.
Only
that's
Chads.
a dub for sure.
Yeah, we gotta beat Charlotte at home. My God. 2-1.
Yeah, 2-1. I'll take that.
Again, that's my default score line unless I'm feeling something else.
A lot of 2-1s. I asked you guys about August 16th at Portland Timbers because my buddy was just in town who I hadn't seen in a few years, lives in Portland. I was like, what would I have an excuse to be in Portland? I was like, I think we're coming this year.
I'm willing to commit to, Away Days part 2 hasn't been released yet still. Hope maybe.
Who needs it?
Maybe a special treat after the first of the year.
I was going to say, does it get released this year? Which is a fun thing to say.
Maybe. We'll see. We're close. Editing took a little longer on this one because, of crippling depression on my part. Not from lack of free time, just the way the season went down.
You know what I realized? That trip sandwiched 2 pretty big stories of 2024. The grounding of the entire air infrastructure of the United States to start the trip, and then Biden stepping out of the presidential race at the end of the trip.
It was a newsy little time capsule watching through this footage.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll have that cut. But yeah, I think I'm ready to commit for Portland to the away day.
It makes a lot of sense. It's also the first time we will have played in Portland, checking off one of those weird
Madness.
Haven't played at them. We've only played them
3 times.
3 times. One of them was MLS's back.
Yeah.
The other one was the 2019 home opener. I don't remember the other.
I don't remember the other either. We probably lost. It was probably during the Yopstam years. It's a game we want to forget.
Oh no, maybe we lost the MLS's back, right?
That was
because we got 2 wins
kick.
and 1 draw. Interesting.
Oh, they're counting the MLS back as a draw because it went to penalties. It was a knockout game. We somehow got out of our group.
Yes, we played them in 2023. We beat them 2-1 at FC Cincinnati here at the FC.
It had to have been early in the
season. Sergio Santos goal and a Vasquez goal.
It was April 22nd, so it was pretty early on in the year.
Okay.
Interesting.
No memory of that.
Can you name all three players that scored in the FC Cincinnati's 3-0 win against the Portland Timbers originally? Without
for
looking.
Sure.
Alan Cruz, Kendall Waston. I know those two for sure.
Yeah.
Darren Maddox?
Nope. Jonah, would you like to try your luck for the third one? It's a player near and dear to your own heart.
Yeah, it was Big Dick Duplan, as far as I remember.
Yeah, that is absolutely correct.
Damn.
Matthew Duplan.
I was just listening to his song I made the other day, and I was like, I wonder what he's up to now, that handsome bastard.
Yeah. Speaking of songs, I am disappointed. There were a couple bangers on the FCC Christmas album that I kind of wish had full treatments, like Jeff Birding. My grandma got evicted by Jeff Birding, like that. That deserved a full treatment, I think.
It's funny, we were in MLS at the time, and like most of my references were USL era. It was like I remember posting on MLS, right? People were like, I don't really know what you're talking about. Like, this is pretty cool, but like, who are, like, what? Jimmy's shoulder shake? Like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't know. Just something about John Harkes still. Yeah, simpler times. And then I'm still convinced to this day it was that the Philly social media ripped me off, and they did the exact same thing. Shortly after, of like a Philadelphia holidays hits, like this faux exact same thing. Right. And like, you know, their Philly is like in the mix with, you know, internet culture. So I'm just saying,
somebody got paid to do that.
Yeah,
to rip you off.
And a worse version, by the way. Like, it just wasn't as funny.
All I got was Liz Summers' interview out of it. So
worth it.
For sure.
Portland, artificial turf feels like a loss.
No, it's in away days. If we're there, it's definitely going to be a loss.
Right.
If we fly across the country, they're.
What's the train to Portland situation?
the 4-hour flight and the sad podcast recording at the Airbnb the same night.
Well, at least we start off going towards Chicago. That's west, so
right. We're already in the right direction.
I'm going to say this is the year of the road draw. 2-2 road draw.
Whoa!
Year of the road draw.
I don't know if we get a third one. Jeez,
no, we're going crazy with it.
Oh, God.
August. What's the date of it? The 16th.
16.
They take off on the Wednesday. Hopefully get back by the next Wednesday.
2-2 draw it is.
Checking on that train.
I am curious. I got to know what the train situation is to Portland.
No trips on your date. Just give me the closest you can.
Yeah, plus or minus a couple of days.
Just get me to Portland,
brother. What's your guesses on not price? Who cares about the price? Time.
Money is no object. We have
time.
sponsors.
How much time you think?
Do we? Time. 2 days, 21 hours.
4 days.
I think Kevin's closer if my math is right. 60 hours.
Jesus.
And that's changing trains just once. So the first.
Wow.
Wait, no. 60 hours would be 48 plus 12, right? So it'd be 2 days and 12 hours.
No, I win. It's Price is Right rules.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, Chat GPT did the math for me. We did a white elephant thing at my father-in-law's, and it was like there was dice rolling, and if you got, you know, a certain number, whatever. I think 3 times I added up my dice incorrectly, and my sister-in-law was like, "That's 9." It's like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. And so
like, did you see there was a post that went viral on Reddit for unethical life tips, which fantastic subreddit.
Yes,
where it was a guy that said that that he has saved hundreds of dollars by always underpaying people when he Venmos them by $1 or $2. So like if he owes someone $25, he'll put in like $24 or whatever it is.
Oh, no.
And like it's always a number where it's like you would seem like a dick if you called him out saying that he had underpaid, or he would do something where he transposes a number. So instead of paying you like $43, he pays you $34. So it seems like a genuine mistake. And everyone always writes it off. But he's saying like, yeah, I've saved hundreds of dollars by basically scamming my friends by pretending I can't do math.
Oh my God.
And I was like, there are people that have done worse things.
Right.
This may be still the worst person. I'm not saying he's Hitler, but
he's on his way there.
He's in the team photo.
Oh my God. Where does that leave us? Hosting NYCFC. 7:30 p.m. kickoff on 8/23. A little bit of a gap there between the Portland game.
Just a week.
The Fortress?
Yeah, the Fortress. Fortress is back. I think where are we at right now? How many points we got, Kevin?
Well, we have 55 points. A pretty successful season so far.
What did we end up with last year?
These are things I absolutely should have at my fingertips.
No, that's not that important.
It absolutely is important. We ended up with 59 points last year.
So there's a lot of season left.
Miami, 74 points, having what many people consider to be the best
the
season
best team ever assembled.
So 2023, obviously pre-Miami.
Yep.
69 points. Still can't believe Orlando was second. We only lost 5 games. So how many losses? That's important. How many losses are we up to now?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, there's something is not counting.
That felt like a lot.
Hold, please. There it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it's 6 losses.
So we already have more losses than 2023. We have lots of games left.
And this is about the time of the year that we shit the bed. So
we've only predicted 4 draws. That is where all of the issue is coming from.
There's got to be some home draws coming.
And I think probably it starts right here with NYCFC 1-1.
The stats would back that up. The detailed stats.
1-1 draw. Okay. That leaves us with Philadelphia.
What happened at Philadelphia? We took a road win. That was their home opener.
Yeah, we took a road
opener,
win. Right.
We won 2-1.
Do we draw again, leaving people to ask, why can't we just get the win at home?
I think we draw again here. And it asks the question, are we in another FC Cincinnati late season swoon?
Oh, God, because then we host Nashville.
Yet. We're going to find out. We're going to find out.
We host Nashville after that. I'm saying 2-2 draw against Philadelphia. It'll be a wacky game. It takes us to September. There's only 3 games in September. Nice big break before we play Nashville in Cincinnati.
It's a win.
It could be another draw, though, which would be very fun.
It's got to be a win.
It's got to be a win because they're going to lose against LA going out to LA.
Yeah, there could be another draw in the table.
Okay. So I'm going to say 2-0. How about that?
Yeah.
For the win there. Then, we go out to LA.
Ooh, 10:30. I'm struggling to stay awake. Oh, it's one of those. Don't like.
What about a blowout loss?
Oh, you sicko.
Is that a classic? I stayed up for this.
Yeah. I stayed up for this, and it's now
85th
4-1.
minute. You're still watching.
Yeah.
You're saying, why am I still watching this?
3-1. They score that 4th one, and it's like, I'm just going to bed.
Yeah. I'm saying 4-1 loss. Brutal. God. It's a rough landing coming
because
into
you know what else too? You got to remember that like the NFL season will have started the week before. So the Bengals will already be 0-1, and you'll be thinking to yourself, "Oh my God, it's all going wrong again."
It's happening.
We go
again.
down while they, it's
Zach
like, what is
Taylor
with Pat
can't do it
Noonan
again.
swoons at the end of the season? What's happening?
That leaves us hosting Orlando at the 2:30 feature spot on September 27th.
And then they answer the question with a resounding no. This is not a late season swoon. We pick up the 61st point of the year, I think.
It would be the 61st point of the year.
61st point of the year.
Playoff spot guaranteed.
Beating Orlando decisively 3-1.
3-1. Almost the reverse of the LA Galaxy.
Yeah.
I like
this
it.
This team is just Jekyll and Hyde. You just don't know what you're going to get, but mostly wins.
Yeah. Mostly wins.
This is like, how is Chief complaining so much? This team is actually on nearly a record pace.
Right. This
yeah,
team
as
is
tradition.
New York Red Bulls host the FC.
And you know what?
PM.
This is the year of the road draw. It's another road draw here. 0-0.
Just going against history.
Madman.
0-0.
We will have had as many road draws this season as the last two combined.
Yeah. We're getting weird with it this year.
Chief, does it change your opinion if you are reminded that they will be playing in Sports Illustrated Stadium?
Which is even more absurd because Sports Illustrated doesn't really even exist anymore.
Great.
Right.
The recap will be written by AI. Congratulations. It's the Maven Sports Arena presented by Sports Illustrated or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
I should say draws have decreased every season. 2021, 25% of matches are draws. 2022, 22%. 2023, 20%.
Ooh.
I'm saying 18% this year, just going off that. Why the decrease in draws? Who knows?
We are predicting, I think, a decrease in draws. I think. My gut tells me that.
Many people.
Overall.
It takes us to decision day, 6 p.m., Montreal coming to Cincinnati.
And we're sitting on 62 points, right?
We will have 62 points. It could be in contention for the Shield, but Miami's probably already won it at this point.
So what I'm saying about this is our playoff seeding is already locked in. The result in this game does not matter. And we exit with a resounding 1-1 draw.
Blood fart.
I should say October is our best month. Even with last year.
2-0 win. I could be convinced either way. I'm not.
He's been flipped.
I've been flipped. It didn't take much.
2 draws, 3 losses in the month of October. 58% winning percentage in the month of October.
Love that for us.
Even with our swoon last year, I almost have to look at it to believe it. How did we finish last year? It wasn't good, right?
It was not good.
It was not good.
Maybe I'm just going to
check real quick.
Supposed
to a blood fart is more of a wet fart to end the season last year.
And then we had an indoor soccer team and we called it Cold Fart, and we put a silent G at the end of fart for no reason. And they thought it was a typo. Like, no, Cold Fart with this G at the end. Last year we ended. No, that's 2023. Very helpful. 2023.
We ended last year with a win against Philadelphia on decision day, with a loss to Orlando City, a loss to NYCFC, a loss to LAFC, a draw against Nashville, a win against Minnesota, a draw to Columbus, and that was September. So starting in September, draw, win, draw, loss, win.
So
not great.
2 October regular season losses. I'm just trying to see if ChatGPT was lying to me.
This does give us, having done the quick maths here, the Excel, a plus 22 goal differential, which would have been the third best in MLS last year.
That feels right though, right? Like
LAFC had 20, LA Galaxy had 19. We were at 10 last year.
So you just take last year and you add a competent striker for the entire year.
Because I mean,
it's like, you look at it, they're bringing back most of the same roster from last year, except they're adding at the biggest position of need. You figure a minor. So if you're going into this with the thought Lucho Acosta will play for this team, which, flip a coin on that.
Yeah.
You're adding Kevin Denke to it. Yeah. That, like, everything about this, like, Usually we get to the end and it's like, oh shit, we need to adjust some of these numbers. Yeah. It kind of feels right. I'll bet you that, like we said, 63 points is what we end on right there.
65 points.
65 points. All right, 65 points. That probably finishes you third on the overall MLS table, probably second or third in the Eastern Conference. That feels about right for this team, unless there's some major shakeups on the roster.
65 points, so the plus 22 goal differential would have been good for third in the Supporter Shield race, behind the Columbus Crew on 66 points, but ahead of LAFC with 64. LA Galaxy also tied at 64 points. So, yeah,
fair.
You're looking at basically
right between
an
the last
LAFC,
2 years,
an LAFC season last year is basically what you're looking at this year.
Also,
is what we're predicting, I should say.
As we've seen, we ended with 59, which is disappointing in the way we ended. But like, not all these seasons are created equal. Right. We were all kind of gently sounding an alarm.
Yes.
Like, we got all those points, but it's not. And people who aren't, commentators are casually watching. We have that Miami game, and it throws people off the scent for a while. But like, not to be negative, but if you're watching every game, like, it's not quite
right.
It's not quite what it looks like. I feel like you could have less points and be a better team, depending on how you space the points out. So I'll see.
I'd agree with that. I mean, we're looking at, what is that in the last? Sorry, here, real back. In the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games. Okay, so it was a nice season 10. We're only losing one of the final 10 games of the season. That would be a hell of a turnaround from what we've done the last couple of years. Now, in fairness,
backload some of those points.
Yeah, there's like 4 or 5 draws in those 10 games, but still, it's better than what we've seen before.
Yeah, I can learn to love a draw.
Yeah.
Also, if like Denke is playing great.
That's a great question. So how many goals total did we score this season, Kevin?
In 2024, FC Cincinnati put 58 goals in the positive.
No, how much are we predicting for 2025? How many?
You're never going to believe this. 58.
So the defense is just getting better, is what
we are predicting 36 goals against. We had 48 goals against in 2024.
Okay, so let's say, for the sake of argument, we are predicting that the FC scores 60 goals, where our number's off. How many of those do you think Kevin Denke scores this year?
I gotta look at the Golden Boot. I don't want to.
Benteke had 18, I think, last year to win the Golden Boot. Is that right?
That's funny. My gut was to say 18 here. I don't know. I think he had more than that, right? I think he had 20 something.
I don't know. I thought it was a low number this year.
Who's taking? Lucho's gone. Who's taking PKs?
Benteke.
I would hope so. I've seen him take penalties.
23 goals for Benteke last year.
Okay.
So yeah, I would say
the record's 36. I want to say that was a lot then.
21 goals maybe for Denke. So I think he'll take PKs if Lucho isn't around. It's interesting. I wonder if he will take PKs anyway with Lucho still here.
Oh boy! See, there's your
Whose
first
team? Whose man?
Only
one ball.
What is the line for he didn't score? Like him scoring 20 and above, slam dunk. Obviously,
yeah.
Especially in your first season, new league, he's still young. It's not like he's a finished product. What's the lowest, like that and above is you're not worried about him, What's that number?
I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. What is our record goals scored in a season?
Is it Vasquez?
Like Vasquez with 18 or 17?
Are we talking MLS or all competition?
I'll take all competitions, I guess, but or maybe Brenner has that. I don't know. Or Acosta probably has it. Hell, I don't know.
Brenner and Vasquez both had 18 in 2022 in MLS. I don't have.
So
2021, Brenner was the leader with 8. So 2021,
a weird team.
2023, Lucho had 17.
Okay.
Vasquez had 8. Then last year, Acosta with 14.
In my head, 15 feels like the bare minimum he would need to get.
That's what I was going to say.
20 would be, this was absolutely worth every penny of this. Less than 15, unless he's getting like also 15 assists, which is possible depending on what formation they roll out and who exactly is on this team.
He's got to get to 20. Like that's, I think.
Yeah.
But also,
the only
Vasquez's 18 felt better than Brenner's 18 because Brenner was like 4, 3, 2, 2, 2, nothing.
2. Yeah.
If you have someone who's scoring every other game like Vasquez was, it feels much nicer. So if he gets, I'd rather have 17 goals in 1 goal increments than 20 goals in half as many games.
What I am worried about is that it's only like 14 this year, and it's a Goss theory situation where he takes a full year to adjust to the fact that you're playing on a Wednesday in Montreal and then on a Saturday in Orlando and that kind of a travel schedule. And that the real breakout year where he just rips the record book in half is 2026.
Yeah. I do. This is not a criticism of you because I do this as well. The assumption that like Americans are used to doing that, like, I think that just sucks for everybody to go from Montreal to Orlando in 3 days. Like, I don't know if like being from San Jose makes you better at doing that or not, but no, I do the same thing. You assume that as well. And I mean, sure, his playing career's been in like France and Belgium where I think you can jump rope between stadiums. It's
a little really different. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
I just hope he can, he'll be impacting the game when he's not scoring goals. Hopefully he's part of it and he's not just hanging out.
Standing around.
when we were in Brussels, we accidentally boarded the wrong train and we're going on a train to Amsterdam. We were able to get off at the next station and correct our mistake. But even if we couldn't have, we were only adding a 2-hour delay to where we were going otherwise. Right. And that was to the capital of another country.
Sort of the opposite of Jonah trying to book a train to Montreal.
Yeah, a little different.
You don't want to go the wrong way on that one.
You're never going home. You live here now. I'm sorry.
It's called chain migration. The entire podcast goes.
Oh my God. Well,
that's you know what? Write that in ink. That's how the season's going, I think.
I mean, it feels realistic. The sad thing is there's not a whole lot of room for it to go better.
Right. Oh, well. Love it. Love that for us.
We got high expectations. So
it's been a lot. Yeah. You're going to give that Final Fantasy VII sound a workout, which is good. We like that.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. I mean, it was like a joke earlier, like when me and Zach would do it. And then like all of a sudden, like, hey, we're actually winning all these games we were joking about. Like, it's not so far-fetched anymore.
Oh God. I think that's got to do it for the episode. We're at 2 hours and 12 minutes. Well, I don't think there's any reason to add more to this.
Everybody got their money's worth. Everybody learned. We all learned a little bit about how trains work.
You put money in people's pockets.
Yeah,
obviously.
We learned how to like hack your friends via Venmo. It's all, it's all
Use
good.
the money you save on this parlay.
just join the Patreon. How many questions did we leave unanswered for January, Kevin?
Good question about questions.
December.
Including Schwei's question that he asked in the Discord, which I will take. That leaves us with 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh God.
5.
Oh God.
6.
Oh shit.
7 questions for January. Hey, we're going to need them. Okay. There's not going to be a whole lot happening in those first few weeks of January.
This is true. So with that, enjoy your new year responsibly. Make sure that you and your loved ones are safe. We'll see everybody in 2025. And until then, fuck Columbus.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Cincy Postcast. It is a production of The Post Cincy. You can check us out at thepostcincy.com or just click a link in the description to check out some of our written work. It also has links to our social media accounts across all sorts of different platforms, including YouTube, where we are trying to do more and more video content. Please, dare I say it, like and subscribe and leave a comment. But no, that would be really, really helpful. Also want to give a thank you to Jim Trace and the Makers. They're a local Cincinnati band who provided all of the music for this episode. We love having them on board. You can check them out. Again, link in the description of this episode to find out where they might be playing shows next or where you can listen to more of their music. Also want to give a massive, massive thank you to the awesome and very attractive patrons over on Patreon. It is a voluntary subscription that people take out with no real promise of anything extra that keep this show afloat. And we are so, so thankful to those of you that have decided to take that commitment. If you do like the show, or at least just want to engage with other people who have listened to the show and want to talk about FC Cincinnati, MLS, soccer, or really anything else, you can go on over to Discord. Again, link in the description. Lots of links in the description where you can find a link to the Discord. That's where we are keeping the conversation going 24/7. It feels like it's a really fun group of people in there just talking about FC Cincinnati. And like I said, just about everything else. And finally, I'll say it. If you liked this episode, and given the fact that you've made it all the way to the end, I have to assume you either like it or for some reason cannot reach the stop button. Please share this episode with a friend or family member or someone who likes FC Cincinnati. The best way for us to grow is from a personal recommendation from somebody who likes it. And if that's you, please tell other people. And if you don't have any friends, feel free to give us a review on whatever your podcast platform of choice is. We'll take anything we can get. But again, a huge, huge thank you to everybody for listening to this show. I am blown away that anybody listens to this. So again, I well and truly mean this. Thank you so much for listening.